Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Union Cabinet gives nod to restoration and continuation of Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. Price support of over 17,408 crore rupees to the Cotton Corporation of India also approved for cotton seasons from 2014-15 to 2020-21. Union Cabinet also clears mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under ethanol blended petrol program. Government declares 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas to mark birth anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Regional security dialogue on Afghanistan emphasizes that Afghan territory should not be used for sheltering, training, planning or financing any terrorist act. Heads of National Security Councils of 7 nations call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after completion of regional security dialogue on Afghanistan, express appreciation of India's initiative in organizing the dialogue and of the quality of the exchanges. President Ramnath Kovind to preside over 51st Conference of Governors and Lieutenant Governors tomorrow. More than 109 crore 63 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.25%. Coastal areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry on high alert after extreme rainfall warning. Fishermen advised not to venture into the sea till tomorrow. Chhath Puja being celebrated in different parts of the country. Devotees offer Sandhya Arghya to Sun God. And in T20 World Cup, first semi-final underway between England and New Zealand in Abu Dhabi. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. The Union Cabinet today approved restoration and continuation of Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme (MP-LADS), which had been discontinued in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. Briefing media in New Delhi today, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said the funds will be released at the rate of 2 crore rupees per MP for the remaining period of financial year 2021-22 in one installment and at the rate of 5 crore rupees per annum per MP during the next financial year to financial year 2025-26 in 2 installments of 2.5 crore rupees each. He said the decision was taken in view of economic recovery in the country.
2 वर्ष के लिए 20-21 और 21-22 तक जहां तक MP-LAD की स्कीम को मंत्रिमंडल द्वारा तय किया गया था कि उसके धन का उपयोग कोविड की लड़ाई के लिए किया जाएगा और आज मुझे बताते हुए प्रसन्नता भी है कि आर्थिक स्थिति में सुधार को देखते हुए जिस तरह से इकोनॉमिक रिकवरी भी हुई है 2021-22 की शेष अवधि के लिए MP-LAD की स्कीम को कार्यान्वित करने का निर्णय किया गया है। इससे प्रत्येक MP को उनको 2-2 करोड़ रुपए की किस्त आवंटित की जाएगी, लेकिन जो बाकी के 3 वर्ष रहते हैं 2022-23 से लेकर 25-26 तक, उस समय के लिए 5-5 करोड़ रुपए की पूरी किस्त माननीय सांसदों को अपने क्षेत्र के विकास के लिए दी जाएगी.
Mr. Thakur informed that the Cabinet also approved declaration of 15th November, the birth anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda, as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas.
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में 15 नवंबर को भगवान बिरसा मुंडा जी की जयंती है, जो अंग्रेज शासन के विरुद्ध संघर्ष करने वाले एक महान स्वतंत्रता सेनानी हैं और समाज सुधारक रहे। भारत सरकार 15 नवंबर से 22 नवंबर तक जनजातीय समुदाय के गौरवशाली इतिहास और उनकी उपलब्धियों, संस्कृति और आजादी की लड़ाई में उनकी योगदान की महत्ता पर एक सप्ताह कार्यक्रम आयोजित करने जा रही है और आइकॉनिक वीक जो होगा, ये आइकॉनिक वीक 15 से 22 नवंबर का जनजातीय गौरव दिवस जो हमने 15 नवंबर को घोषित किया है, उससे एक हफ्ते तक ये चलने वाला है। उनके गौरवशाली इतिहास, उपलब्धियों, संस्कृति के बारे में होगा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed happiness that the Union Cabinet has decided to celebrate the birth anniversary on 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said Bhagwan Birsa Munda lives in the hearts of millions of people of the country, and people still get lessons of courage, valor and service from his life.
The committed price support of over 17,408 crore rupees to the Cotton Corporation of India got Cabinet nod today. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs CCEA approved incurring expenditure for reimbursing losses under MSP operations for cotton during the cotton season October to September 2014-15 to 2020-21.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में ये तय किया गया है कि भारतीय कपास आयोग को 17,408 करोड़ रुपए की कमिटेड प्राइस सपोर्ट को मंजूरी दी गई है और ये इसलिए है क्योंकि कपास के क्षेत्र में लगभग 60 लाख किसान सीधे तौर पर जुड़े हुए हैं और जो पिछले 2 वर्ष थे कोविड के समय, जहां एक और कपास का मूल्य कम था बाजार में, वहां पर बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो गया था कि सरकार की इंटरवेंशन भी हो।
The minister said it also approved reservation norms for jute packaging materials for the year 2021-22. 100% food grains and 20% of sugar is to be packed in jute bags. He said the move will bring relief to 370,000 workers employed in jute mills and ancillary units. Mr. Thakur said it will support the livelihood of around 4 million farm families and help in protecting the environment.
प्रस्ताव में आरक्षण मानदंड भारत में कच्चे जूट और जूट पैकेजिंग सामग्री के घरेलू हितों की रक्षा करेंगे और इस प्रावधान को लागू करके सरकार जूट मिलों को और इनमें काम करने वाले लगभग 4 लाख श्रमिकों को राहत प्रदान करेगी और वहीं पर 40 लाख किसान परिवारों की आजीविका को भी संबल मिलेगा। भारत सरकार प्रतिवर्ष 8,000 करोड़ रुपए की जूट बैग की खरीदारी करती है। इससे भी सीधे तौर पर जूट फार्मर्स और जूट वर्कर्स को लाभ मिलता है।
The Cabinet also approved mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under ethanol blended petrol program. Mr. Thakur said it has cleared higher ethanol price derived from different sugarcane based raw materials for sugar season 2020-21. He said the price of ethanol from C-heavy molasses increased from 45 rupees 69 paise to 46 rupees 66 paise per litre. Price of ethanol from B-heavy molasses increased from 57 rupees 61 paise to 59 rupees 8 paise per litre. Price of ethanol from sugarcane juice, sugar or sugar syrup increased from 62 rupees 65 paise to 63 rupees 45 paise per litre. The decision will help in price stability and remunerative prices for ethanol suppliers, facilitating setting up of advanced biofuel refineries in the country, reducing the pending arrears of cane farmers, reducing dependency on crude oil imports, and help in savings in foreign exchange.
The Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan has emphasized that Afghanistan's territory should not be used for sheltering, training, planning or financing any terrorist acts. The meeting condemned in the strongest terms all terrorist activities and reaffirmed their firm commitment to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including its financing, the dismantling of terrorist infrastructure and countering radicalization to ensure that Afghanistan would never become a safe haven for global terrorism. The dialogue, which was held today in New Delhi in an expanded format, was attended by national security advisors, secretaries of the National Security Councils of India, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. In his remarks at the event, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval today reiterated that India is keenly watching the developments in Afghanistan.
This is a time for close consultations amongst us, greater cooperation and interaction and coordination among the regional countries. I am confident that our deliberations will be productive, useful and will contribute to help the people of Afghanistan and enhance our collective security.
The participants discussed the evolving situation in Afghanistan, especially the security situation and its regional and global ramifications. The sides paid special attention to the current political situation in Afghanistan and threats arising from terrorism, radicalization and drug trafficking, as well as the need for humanitarian assistance. During the meeting, stress was also laid on the necessity of forming an open and truly inclusive government that represents the will of all the people of Afghanistan and has representation from all sections of their society, including major ethno-political forces in the country. The statement has also expressed concern of the deteriorating socio-economic and humanitarian situation in Afghanistan and emphasized the need to provide urgent humanitarian assistance to the people of the country. The participants thanked India for holding the third regional security dialogue on Afghanistan in New Delhi. The next round will be held in 2022. The heads of the National Security Council of 7 nations who are in Delhi for the regional security dialogue on Afghanistan, hosted today by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, collectively called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi after the completion of the dialogue. They appreciated India's initiative in organizing the dialogue and of the quality of the exchanges. They also conveyed the perspectives on the Afghan situation. The Prime Minister appreciated the participation of the senior dignitaries in the event despite the challenges posed by the pandemic. He emphasized 4 aspects the countries in the region would need to focus on in the context of Afghanistan: the need for an inclusive government, a zero-tolerance stance about Afghan territory being used by terrorist groups, a strategy to counter trafficking of drugs and arms from Afghanistan, and addressing the increasingly critical humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. Mr. Modi also expressed the hope that the regional security dialogue would work to revive Central Asia's traditions of moderation, progressive culture, and counter-extremist tendencies.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today highlighted the efforts in the field of indigenization through Make in India initiative is showing results. He said the orders of LCA Mach 1A and C-295 will open new opportunities in the indigenous aerospace sector. Speaking at the second biannual IAF Commanders Conference, Mr. Singh mentioned that enhancing jointness is essential and the structure should be evolved after closely examining various options and inputs from all stakeholders. The Defence Minister appreciated the IAF for maintaining a high level of preparedness, ability to respond at a short notice, and displaying high standards of professionalism in carrying out operational and peacetime tasks. On the volatile situation on the country's borders, Mr. Singh said that the armed forces need to be prepared to respond at a short notice for any contingency. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary, briefed the Defence Minister on the current status of the IAF. The government has appointed Vice Admiral R. Hari Kumar as the next Chief of the Naval Staff. He is presently the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief of Western Naval Command. The present Navy Chief, Admiral Karambir Singh, is retiring from service on the 30th of this month. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Union Cabinet gives nod to restoration and continuation of Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. Price support of over 17,408 crore rupees to the Cotton Corporation of India also approved for cotton season from 2014-15 to 2020-21. Union Cabinet also clears mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under Ethanol Blended Petrol Program. Government declares 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas to mark birth anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Regional security dialogue on Afghanistan emphasizes that Afghan territory should not be used for sheltering, training, planning or financing any terrorist act. Heads of National Security Councils of 7 nations call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after completion of regional security dialogue on Afghanistan, express appreciation of India's initiative in organizing the dialogue and of the quality of the exchanges. President Ramnath Kovind to preside over 51st Conference of Governors and Lieutenant Governors tomorrow. More than 109 crore 63 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.25%. Coastal areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry on high alert after extreme rainfall warning. Fishermen advised not to venture into the sea till tomorrow. Chhath Puja being celebrated in different parts of the country. Devotees offer Sandhya Arghya to Sun God. And in T20 World Cup, first semi-final underway between England and New Zealand in Abu Dhabi. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में बृहस्पतिवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सेनानियों की वीर गाथा।
Welcome back to the evening news. President Ramnath Kovind will preside over the 51st Conference of Governors and Lieutenant Governors tomorrow at Rashtrapati Bhavan. This will be the fourth conference to be presided over by President Kovind. Apart from governors and lieutenant governors of all states and union territories, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah will also attend the conference. More than 109 crore 63 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 52 lakh 69,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. A total of 11,466 new cases were reported in the same period. The recovery rate is currently at 98.25%, the highest since March 2020. In our bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Harish Pemde, pediatrician, LHMC, New Delhi, will be with us tonight to answer queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on toll-free number 1-800-115-767 and on telephone number 011-233-14444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. Coastal areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry are on high alert. A low-pressure area has formed over southeast Bay of Bengal and neighbourhood, which is very likely to intensify into a depression over southwest and adjoining southeast Bay of Bengal and is likely to bring heavy to very heavy rainfall with isolated extremely heavy rain over Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Karaikal. The Indian Meteorological Department has sounded a red alert in Tamil Nadu till tomorrow. Fishermen are advised not to venture into the sea till tomorrow. More in this report from our Chennai correspondent.
Extremely heavy rainfall and heavy to very heavy rain expected through North Tamil Nadu coast till South Andhra. All the coastal districts have been put on high alert as the system approaches near the coast. Cool breeze and constant rain become the order of the day, making people to stay indoors. Orders have been issued to district administrations to coordinate with the state control room and maintain a strict vigil in water bodies. Control rooms have been set up in districts for immediate help. People living in low-lying areas have been shifted to safety. Advisories have been issued to people living near the shores from Karaikal to Sriharikota. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
The Puducherry District Collector Purva Karg said the administration is ready to face any eventuality arising out of incessant rain for the third consecutive day today.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Department of Justice under the Ministry of Law and Justice is organizing various activities. Speaking exclusively to All India Radio, Secretary, Department of Justice Barun Mitra detailed the programs being organized to promote access to affordable justice for all.
Embarking on Prime Minister's vision of digital inclusion, Tele-law has emerged as a powerful and reliable medium to provide pre-litigation advice to the citizen. During this week, to make Tele-law more inclusive and versatile, this service will now be made available to common citizens through a mobile app. On this occasion, the department is also felicitating the best-performing frontline functionaries whose relentless efforts in the far-flung areas of the country have helped Tele-law reach glorious heights. Concurrently, the National Legal Services Authority has launched a Pan-India campaign for spreading legal awareness from 2nd October onward to 14th November.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
On 10th of November 1698, Calcutta was sold to the East India Company. Having started trading in Bengal as early as 1633, the East India Company wanted to obtain more rights of trade in the region.
In 1682, Hosea Child was the governor of the English East India Company in London. Hosea Child was also the governor of Bombay. He sent William Hedges to Bengal in order to obtain an imperial farman. Due to the arrogance of the British, Emperor Aurangzeb broke off the negotiations. After that, Hosea Child decided to wage a war against Aurangzeb.
In 1685, the British sent out 12 warships to seize Chittagong. But fate took an interesting turn. During their voyage, the ships were dispersed due to strong winds. Some ships, instead of steering for Chittagong, entered the Hooghly. The arrival of such a formidable expedition alarmed the Mughals. The Mughal army offered negotiations, but the British in return strengthened their fleet and bombarded Baleshwar.
After that, Emperor Aurangzeb issued orders for the complete annihilation of the British possessions. In 1689, after a year of resistance, the English surrendered. In utter humiliation, the company sent envoys to Aurangzeb's camp to plead for a pardon. The company's envoys had to prostrate themselves before the emperor.
As a result, the company moved their factory about 20 miles down the Hooghly River to Sutanati. This settlement gradually extended to Kalikata and Govindpur. Kalikata became the headquarters of the East India Company in Bengal. Kalikata was renamed Calcutta by the British. And on 10th of November 1698, the company actually purchased the 3 towns of Sutanati, Govindpur and Kalikata.
Fortification of the town was completed in 1706. Known as Fort William, the settlement grew rapidly, and in 1707 it was raised to the status of a presidency. Kolkata later emerged as the pioneer center of Indian nationalism.
Today is also the birth anniversary of Surendranath Banerjee. Born in Calcutta on 10th of November 1848, Surendranath Banerjee was a major figure in Indian nationalism during the late 19th and early 20th century. A believer in moderate means, he was deeply committed to achieving constitutional objectives by constitutional methods.
Upon completion of his early education in India, Surendranath Banerjee went to London. In 1869, Surendranath became the second Indian to succeed in the Indian Civil Service competitive examination.
He was appointed to a post in Sylhet, in present-day Bangladesh, in his homeland. However, in 1874, he was dismissed for a minor and apparently inadvertent procedural error. Banerjee felt he had been discriminated against because he was an Indian. Upon returning to Calcutta in 1875, he embarked on a political career to organize Indian public opinion and protect the rights of Indians. To achieve this, he founded the Indian Association in 1876.
The Indian Association had set the stage for a more practical demonstration of the newly awakened sense of political unity of India. The first session of the Indian Association was held in Calcutta in December 1883. The session was attended by more than 100 delegates from different parts of India.
Banerjee was active in teaching for 37 years and considered it his chief vocation, though inseparable from his political work. Surendranath Banerjee took a chair in English literature at the Metropolitan Institution, now Vidyasagar College, and subsequently taught at the Ripon College, now Surendranath College.
In 1878, he became a proprietor of an English-language newspaper, The Bengali, through which he espoused liberal causes for nearly half a century. He also played a prominent role in the Indian National Congress from the time of its founding in 1885. He was the president of the Indian National Congress in 1895 and 1902.
Banerjee was a believer in moderate means of political agitation, meetings, petitions, and legislative action. His grasp of the English language and his skills as an orator and debater made him an outstanding public speaker. He reached the peak of his political career in opposing the partition of Bengal in 1905. During these years, he was often called the uncrowned King of Bengal.
He was elected to the Reformed Legislative Council of Bengal in 1921, knighted in the same year, and held office as Minister for Local Self-Government from 1921 to 1924. He was defeated at the polls in 1923. He breathed his last at Barrackpore on August the 6th, 1925.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Chhath Puja is being celebrated in different parts of the country with religious fervour and devotion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended greetings to the people on the occasion. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, "May Chhati Maiya bless everyone with good health and happiness." Standing in knee-deep water at different ghats of rivers, ponds and water reservoirs, devotees paid oblations to the setting sun this evening. Puja will conclude after paying offerings to the rising sun tomorrow morning. On to sports. In ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup, the first semi-final match between England and New Zealand is underway at Abu Dhabi. England were 137 for the loss of 3 wickets in 17.2 overs a short while ago. Earlier, New Zealand won the toss and opted to bowl. The Eoin Morgan-led England topped Group 1. However, their defeat to South Africa in their last outing proved they were not invincible. On the other hand, New Zealand came back smartly after losing to Pakistan in the opening match of their campaign, registering 4 consecutive wins. Pakistan and Australia will play the second semi-final tomorrow at Dubai International Cricket Stadium. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union Cabinet gives nod to restoration and continuation of Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. Price support of over 17,408 crore rupees to the Cotton Corporation of India also approved for cotton seasons from 2014-15 to 2020-21. Union Cabinet also clears mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under ethanol blended petrol program. Government declares 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas to mark birth anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Regional security dialogue on Afghanistan emphasizes that Afghan territories should not be used for sheltering, training, planning or financing any terrorist act. Heads of National Security Councils of 7 nations call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi express appreciation of India's initiative in organizing the dialogue and of the quality of exchanges. President Ramnath Kovind to preside over 51st Conference of Governors and Lieutenant Governors tomorrow. Coastal areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry on high alert after extreme rainfall warning. Fishermen advised not to venture into the sea till tomorrow. Chhath Puja being celebrated in different parts of the country. Devotees offer Sandhya Arghya to Sun God. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.